I think that just gives you a
Tired of
backup.
hearing all these people talking about.
Dirty pop, dirty pop,
All right.
back a
And
pop. My mic doesn't have no pop.
can you believe we made it to 2021?
I like that the intro is live now. It's
I
really
know, right?
good.
It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's groovy.
I also like that I can see you dancing to the intro song that you've heard at least 21 other times.
It doesn't matter. And like 1,000 other times, we have to listen to this podcast before we edit it, or we'd be all fired from our jobs.
Our jobs that we make no money on and are our own boss and
No. The real jobs,
oh, the
the
real
ones that
jobs.
actually pay the bills. I don't want to get fired from that one. This
Oh,
one, I can get
gotcha.
fired from. It's fine.
Yeah, fantastic. How are you, man? It's been a while.
It's been a minute. Not for you and I, but for
No,
the
no.
for the folks at home.
Yeah, for our 5 fans now, we've increased 2.5 fold.
Have we?
Since
We've gone up.
yeah,
Nice.
we hit 1,000
Double.
downloads. Pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in like 18 countries
Thank you.
on 4 continents or five
Mahalo.
continents. Yeah, we're
Gracias.
we're big time now. If we could just get a an advertiser, it would be fantastic. We'd be legit.
I think we're going to need more than 18 downloads to get an advertiser. That's all I'm going to say.
I think so too. But we're getting there. So, well, for all of our listeners, welcome back. I honestly didn't think we would make it to 2021, but here we are. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it got worse. But better days ahead.
We might not have a democracy. 2 million people are dead, but hey,
By the time you
21
hear,
pods back.
yeah, and by the time you hear this episode, we will hopefully have made it through an inauguration without any tragedy happening. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
If we do, we'll re-edit. 20, yeah, 21 pod for 21. This is great.
Yeah,
It actually
yeah.
works out.
Yeah, this whole number thing lined up really well, right? We're airing episode 1 of season 2 on January 21st in the 21st year of 21 Pod. It's pretty great. And you'll be with us for about another, well, now 18 minutes, but 21 minutes total. So we appreciate you all tuning in for our second season. And John and I talked a little bit about what we're gonna do this year, right, bud? And I think we're gonna have some fun with this season. We've got some more structure to our show. You might hear some crazy sound effects along the way. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But like that. But ultimately, what we really want to go for this year is to have some more structure to our show, cover a couple main topics, leave some time for open discussion, but more so ask you, our listeners and our fans, to chime in, to connect with us on social media, send us emails. But we'd love to hear your perspective on the topics that we talk about, and also perspective on any upcoming shows and topics that you'd like us to cover. So we'll share that information in the show notes. But basically, 21 Pod anywhere you go. But with that, man, let's dive right in, John. What do you think? Talk
I'm
talk
ready.
talk about our
Let's
favorites for 2020.
let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to defer to you first, bud. Actually, let's go. Let's trade off, right? So for our first segment today, we really want to go back and reflect on 2020 and talk about our favorites for the year. So we picked 4 categories that really were important in 2020, given how nothing else was really happening. Everything was shut down for the year. So our first topic is our favorite podcast of 2020. And John, I'm going to have you go first. You got 1 minute,
Okay.
bud.
So the problem with this is I'm going to have to answer it with 2 different podcasts at the same time. So my favorite podcast is unequivocally the podcast called Binge Mode. It's been my favorite for 4 years running. Every season they pick a new topic. They started with Game of Thrones. They did Harry Potter, which is one of the most brilliant listens you can get into. They did Star Wars, which was really great. And then they very recently came out with the Marvel rewatch, which has been absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed every bit of it. And it's been just a heck of a listen to. Mallory and Jason Concepcion are just great hosts. And if you haven't done it, it's a deep dive. So you're not going to get out of there for under, 40 hours worth of content. but worth every bit of it to go back through. And hey, we're in a pandemic. So if you're at home sitting there watching, a season of something is pretty brilliant. The second one, I'm sorry to give two, is Smartless. Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, Will Arnett. Give it a shot.
We don't have a buzzer sound effect yet, coming soon, so you get the harp instead.
You could slap me.
I guess I could slap you, but that's violent. Okay, so my favorite podcast, just like you, I have two for the year. So my first one is going to be Bill Gates and Rashida Jones Ask Big Questions. This is a show that came on closer towards the end of the year. They had, I believe, 5 or maybe 6 episodes in the first season. And I got to tell you, it's amazing to be able to have an opportunity to listen to the charisma and the style that Rashida brings, along with just a worldly knowledge and insight and intelligence and articulence that Bill Gates provides. I mean, it's fantastic. And they cover anything and everything. I mean, from the very first episode, I fell in love with it. They talk about tough topics. They talk with very important people in all different aspects of the world today, and definitely a good listen. The second one, I don't believe it was a new podcast in 2020, but it was definitely new to me, is an NPR podcast called How I Built This with Guy Raz. Check it out. Gives you the insight and into the minds and workings of CEOs from across industries. Okay, I see what you did. I see what you did with the sound effect. Okay, so from podcasts, let's just jump over to movies. What was your top movie of 2020?
I'm gonna need 11 seconds. I watched one movie in 2020, so I know you watch 900 movies, and I'll use my minute to just state that that's ridiculous. And other than can I do the Marvel movies, or does it have to have come out in 2020?
No, your favorite movie that you saw in 2020, since you didn't see any new movies.
Okay, well, my favorite movie was Thor Ragnarok, but my favorite 2020 movie is Palm Springs. I loved it. Andy Samberg, Christina Milioti from How I Met Your Mother, absolutely fantastic. Comedy, a little raunchy, but totally up my wheelhouse, and I enjoyed every bit of it.
We're having way too much fun with these sound effects, and we have like 5 right now. Yeah,
people are gonna really despise them.
All right, so for me, my favorite movie of 2020 was actually one that came out towards the end of 2020, which was Tenet, Christopher Nolan's newest movie, starring David Washington. Is that his name? Yeah. Denzel's kid, right? I actually had to watch this movie twice to fully understand it, because the first time I didn't really get it until it was almost the end of the movie. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend you give yourself the opportunity to watch it twice. And the best way that I can explain it, if you've seen Christopher Nolan movies, it's basically taking Inception and Memento and putting them together to get the basic gist of the movie. But what I really loved is the cinematography and how they incorporated reverse and normal chronological order. You're sticking with that one, huh? I like it.
I'm gonna go with it. I think it's a good drop.
Yeah, that's good. I don't have that one. You didn't share it with me, so I'm just, I'm stuck. Anyway,
you can point at me and I can do it to myself.
I'm gonna say TV show next, but I want to actually save that for the end.
Okay.
Let's go to, because I think our favorite TV show is going to be the same, even though we have not talked about this. Favorite book of 2020. Go.
My favorite book of 2020, 2-book series, will be more later. It's called Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I'd love to get into Brandon Sanderson. I've tried Way of Kings. It's a little too intense for me. I'll get there. I know people, but my buddy Greg said, hey, while you're waiting to read the Dresden Files, which is going to take you the rest of your eternal life, Skyward's a quick read. It's on Audible. You'll really enjoy it. And I just freaking loved it. I love the characters. I loved where it went. I thought it was a really great sci-fi book, which is not normally my favorite kind of thing. But it was great for me. So if you get a shot, Skyward, and then Starsight is the sequel, and the third one will be out next year.
Awesome. And the third one's book 2.5, right?
Sure, if you say so.
Okay. Oh, I don't say so. I'm just assuming, but I could be wrong. Nice. So my favorite book of 2020 is a book called Where the Crawdads Sing. If you've looked at all on any bestseller list, you've seen it. It's still up there in the top 10 list. Man, this book was fantastic. I was hooked from the very first page, or very first minute, I should say, because I do audiobooks, until the very end. And I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to spoil it for any of our listeners who haven't listened to it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Twists and turns at every angle, at every minute. And it's one of those books where I'll tell you from the very beginning of the book as I'm listening to it, not only was I absorbing it, but I was also vividly picturing it as a movie. Definitely something that I can see made into a movie for the big screen, but highly recommend you read the book. All right. See, I finished. I
Oh,
don't
so I
get
don't do the
no,
sound effect
no,
as you
no, no, no,
finish?
no, no. We didn't go over. No, take that
Oh,
back.
okay.
Well, don't take it back because you can't.
Okay.
But
I
okay,
take it back.
last one.
See,
Yeah,
see,
there
I
you go.
cut it off. Yeah.
There you go. Favorite TV show. I think that we're gonna say the same show.
Okay.
Uh,
So do you want to say it together?
yes. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Say it. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Ted
Ted
Lasso.
Lasso.
See,
Unequivocal.
fantastic.
Just good. Fucking wankas.
Brilliant. Brilliant show. And to think that it came out of nowhere, it was never expected to be a show. Man, Jason Sudeikis is fantastic in that show. Um,
Oh,
God,
because the London Bridge has fallen.
yeah. So this is if you haven't seen it, Google it, find what it's on, go watch it. Highly recommend it. Man, I can't say enough. I would break my fast for those biscuits.
Yes, Biscuits with the Boss is the way to go. I do want to do a honorable mention for two others. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's okay if I don't mention how good The Mandalorian is.
Fantastic.
Very rare that a show can live up to the hype. And as a Star Wars fan, I was totally dreading season 2, thinking it would fall off a cliff, and it doesn't. We will say nothing of what actually happens, but it is brilliant. And then the other one, documentary, it's just the only thing that was appointment television for me all year. And it feels so long ago, but The Last Dance was absolutely fantastic.
That's
That
on
was just a
Netflix
heck
right
of a
now, by the
watch.
way. If you for our listeners, if you didn't get a chance to see it or you don't have ESPN Plus, it is on Netflix. I agree, it's epically great, whether you're a
One of my
Jordan fan or not.
one of my favorite moments of 2020 was my wife turning to me after episode 3 or 4 and saying, "Does he ever win a title?" I was like, "Yeah, just keep watching, love."
Yeah, and by the way, before you watch it or after or both, go check out our very first episode of 21 Pod where we talk about the GOAT, and John tries to convince us all that Michael Jordan was not the greatest of all time because he's a Rockets fan.
I don't think that's what happened.
That's my version of history. Yeah, find your sound effect. Yeah, okay. Brilliant. So for our audience, guys, we would love to hear from you. What were your favorites of 2020? Podcasts, movies, TV shows, books, all the things that we could do with quarantine life since everything else was closed. But moving on, let's talk about 2021. So new year, fresh start, new season. We want to talk about basically two topics here. So briefly, John, I'll defer to you first. What are you looking forward to the most in 2021? And then what are 3 personal goals? And for our audience, as you listen to this, maybe start thinking of 3 of your own. We'd love for you to share it with us. But what are 3 personal goals that you have for yourself in 2021?
Yeah, so 2020, you and I shared some goals around our physical well-being, and
Yep.
both of us kind of went pretty heavy on fasting, and I think are physically in the best shape of our combined lives. Is that fair to say?
Visually, physically, yes.
Yeah, one of us work out more.
Yeah. You really got to start working out more, buddy.
Yeah, it's me. So a little bit of this is a continuation. What I did learn at the end of 2020 as it relates to my physical well-being is I work out every day, but I was getting pretty lazy on the 20-minute low impact workouts being the workout for the day. And that's just not what I want. I don't think that's the physical health I'm looking for. So I've really focused on the word endurance and the idea of staying in zone 2, 3, and 4, and really working to make sure that that happens. From a balance side, Linz and I talked about just investment in our own home. We're going to be here for a while, so we might as well spend some time on the stuff that matters that way. And we're going to grow this podcast. I think one of my goals is to really commit to this and help you on the marketing side and see if we can get up to, maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000 followers, and see if we can add some video to this bad boy by the end of the year. So pretty excited about 2021. and what it'll bring. And hopefully for everyone else, it just brings health and well-being. That's what I'm rooting for out there in the world.
That's awesome. Yeah. Just for real quick for our listeners, I know when we did a little preview episode a few weeks back for season 2, we talked about being live on YouTube. We're still working on that. I know this episode won't be on YouTube. So if you're on our YouTube channel, I actually don't think we have any subscribers, but if you decide to subscribe after listening to this and you join, we'd love for you to subscribe, but you won't see us there yet. We're working through some technical difficulties. And really, in all
Mainly
honesty,
Amir doesn't know how to use a camera.
well, John doesn't know how to use a camera. Amir doesn't know how to edit
wait
video.
a minute.
So
Amir doesn't own a camera. That's right. Forget episode 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of last year.
I mean, I'm recording just fine right now. Shout out Logitech for the fantastic webcam that you did not provide me. I bought myself. But no, we're gonna work on it. It is one of our goals. But I love it, John. And to mimic something that you said, 2020 was a big year of change for me, for us. I think for me personally, it was a big health change in 2020. A lot of it is thanks to you. All of it is thanks to you. So thank you for the inspiration and motivation. For our listeners out there, man, I lost a third of myself in 2020. So I lost 90 pounds, and I'm really, really proud of that. But again, thanks to John for being that motivation. And that kind of goes into one of my goals in 2021. I've been able to hit the body weight that I want to hit, but one of my goals for 2021 is to, well, in 2020 my goal was to make my health span match my lifespan, and that was something that I stole from you, John. In 2021 my goal is to make my fit span match my health span and my lifespan. And what I mean by fit span is I can be skinny, but I can be skinny fat, and I really want to be fit. And one of my immediate goals is to get to 12% body fat. So I'm about 4% away. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there, and that's something I'll be focused on. Um, Definitely want to continue building this podcast like we just talked about. Hopefully we can continue to expand our audience base and our listeners. And John is got a what are those shake weight in his hand, a fake shake weight, shaking his hand right now. So that's fun. But we really want to reach out to more people and touch more lives and more ears, and hopefully increase our not only our listening base, but maybe turn this into a business. It'd be fun. I mean, I think we're both passionate about podcasting and video and photography, and we can incorporate all these things in our own hobbies and stories for you. So, and then the last thing on my goals is to really just discover what my true career passions are and how I can get there. So I went through a lot of change in 2020, and it was all for the better. Um, but it set me up in a position in 2021 to really discover what's next for me in my life, and work towards that. So outside of that, what I'm really looking forward to, hopefully going to Hawaii this year. We had a trip planned last year that got canceled, but hopefully this year. Um, Peace and healing. If you live in America and you are at all, you know, have some sort of media, anything, that we have had no peace nor healing in this country for a while, and so I really would love to see some of that. And I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most in 2021 is to hug somebody that I don't live with. Um, Personal connection is it's changed, it's gone, it's different now in this world today, and the people that I really want to hug the most are the people that are the highest risk. And so it's difficult, and I think you guys, all of our listeners, can share in that sentiment, and I hope that we'll have that opportunity. All of us will have that opportunity here soon in 2021. So um, again, we would love to hear from you. In our show notes, you can find where to find us. We're on all major platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can email us at 21pod@gmail.com. Visit our website. All right, and now we are actually going to switch gears a little bit. So this season, we're doing a new segment at the end of every show that we call 2-Minute Warning, where we just have an open discussion amongst ourselves about anything and everything. So not topic related or show related, but just what's on our mind. And so I'm going to kick it off this week. And I want to go ahead and talk about the NBA. What was once the epitome of COVID prevention inside of a bubble has become a shit show. And I'm not talking about COVID. No. I'm talking about James, I love strip club Harden. So it's no surprise that the Houston Rockets and James Harden have not gotten along. They haven't gotten along all preseason. I'm surprised he actually even played any games for them. But just the other day, we got breaking news that James Harden was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, who have their own dysfunctional family with Uncle Drew, Kyrie Irving. So Harden goes to the Nets. 3 other teams get some players. Victor Oladipo, probably the biggest name, ends up in Houston. And if I'm Houston, I think I set myself up for greatness. If I am the Nets, I traded one cancer for another.
I'm going to rebuttal that. Are you ready to start the timer for me?
Well, you are the biggest Rockets fan, not named Yao Ming. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. 3, 2, 1. This trade was so critical for the NBA, and it's one of the most fantastic things that's happened to this doom-struck season. COVID is plaguing the NBA, and they're doing a terrible job of managing that. I'll take nothing off that. NBA players aren't good at keeping their friends out of rooms, staying away from each other, and really the league wasn't truly as prepared as they should have been to make this season come to life. That said, I was ready to turn most of it off because I was sick of watching James Harden dribble, step back, and miss a shot, all while being about as overweight as I was 2.5 years ago. But this trade does 3 things. 1, it puts Harden with Durant, one of the most obsessive work ethic guys on the planet, which is going to get one of the best scorers ever to be back in shape to be able to play. 2, Karis LeVert. This is a big deal for Indiana. You pair them up with Sabonis, and they are really, really good. And then for the Rockets, we're the try-hard team now. We won tonight. We beat the Spurs because we look good putting out effort, which we haven't in a long time. And Vic Oladipo is going to show up, and the Rockets are going to make the playoffs. That's my rebuttal.